Dozens and dozens of tents lining the park, an encampment that neighbors say grew during the start of the pandemic.
Homeless advocates and neighbors around the park pleaded with city officials to do more. But in the months since, little has been done as the city and county struggle to find long-term solutions.
I don't know what's next. I've tried every option that I can think of, and I'm still scratching to try to find other options, you know.
In the shadow of Interstate 5 in Seattle on a
already we have seen over the last
right here is where little leaguers normally would play
at a popular city park.
Already seeing some campers
monitoring
a group of Seattle leaders and non-Seattle and King County in Cal Anderson Park being kicked out.
In the year 2000, I was 4 days from being evicted from my home, and the thought of being homeless myself scared the living daylights out of me. And that was 21 years ago, and I never will forget how utterly scared I was. I was terrified of the thought of even being out on the street. I vowed at that point if I ever had a chance to help people that were homeless that I would. Be careful what you pray for, because this is what happens. God has a sense of humor. My background's sitting in front of a laptop. It isn't with a hammer in my hand. Most of the stuff that I learned, I just learned by doing here. Right now, I can't imagine doing anything else. I wake up every morning excited to come here. I first started at Camp Second Chance. I started as a volunteer, thinking, okay, I'm going to do good one day a month. And then one Saturday became every Saturday. The people that started Camp Second Chance were homeless a long time. They found this place and they literally threw their tents over the fences and broke in and squatted and said, this is where we're going to be. Camp Second Chance is one of the few clean and sober camps too. The people there that need to be clean and sober found a community of other people that needed to be clean and sober. So when we first started at Camp Second Chance, we built them roughly, I think it was about one a month. And then a gentleman came in, a volunteer named Tomas Bernanke, who is an architect by trade. And he said, we can build these jigs where you don't have to bend over and we can build them faster. Well, we're all old and we didn't want to bend over, so we went, sure, go ahead. We were building homes on the jig system one at a time. About 2 homes every 3 weeks was our average. Our original goal was to build 7 homes. And then after the 7 homes were built, we saw all these tents, so we went, okay, we're going to finish the rest of them. So we built 31 more homes there. When we were done there, then Lehigh said, can you build us a few to go to some other homes? So we started building for them. The advantage that we had was that we were building with the residents. We have one volunteer who is one of the original Microsoft millionaires, who was working beside Chris, who was at the time homeless, didn't even have a tiny home. And they were working side by side, and they didn't know each other's circumstance. All they knew was, you know, this is 8 inches and we're gonna nail here. If a Microsoft millionaire and a homeless person can work together, then anything's possible. And then COVID hit. So we left there to come here. We had this harebrained idea that if Henry Ford could build them faster, we could too. So we took our existing jigs, we made a couple more jigs, and we converted this into an assembly line program. Right now, we're building about 3 to 4 homes every week versus 2 every 3 weeks. We partner with Lehigh, the Low Income Housing Institute, who sets up the infrastructure of the village. Lehigh has now asked the City of Seattle for 9 more villages and King County for another 4. So that's 13 more villages at 35 to 50 homes. That's about 450 to 600 homes. So we have a lot of building to do. We didn't have a clue whether it would work or not, but we were willing to take a chance, and Lehigh was willing to take a chance. They found us this warehouse space here. They said, okay, you can have as much space as you want. Because we were building on an assembly line system, we needed 5 workstations, and we needed 5 times the amount of tools, and we needed more stuff, which was more money. Lowe's came in, they donated $5,000 worth of hand tools. They donated the shelves for all of our construction materials and another $5,000 on top of that. And Operation Tiny Home donated over $6,000 worth of cordless nail guns and all sorts of tools. So altogether we had close to $25,000 donated to make this space happen. I just kind of sat back. I was like in the eye of a hurricane watching all of this stuff swirl around and all of these people doing all of this good stuff. And it was like I was overwhelmed and humbled at the same time. The good in people is just amazing. We have this amazing group of volunteers that come in week after week and month after month. We invented the Skymobile, which is a safe way to get up on the roof. We invented the Shingleator, which is just a guillotine type of, like a paper cutter for shingles. You know, I've worked with a lot of groups, but they have huge, huge hearts here. It means a lot because everything that we do gets one more person off the street, and that's really what we're all about. I believe, as strong as I live, that this build system in this place will not only end homelessness in Seattle and King County, but we will end homelessness, period. We have all of our construction experience, all of our jigs, cut lists, materials lists, all of that on a zip file. And any municipality and nonprofit that wants it can have it. So we just got a call last week from Bend, Oregon. We're now in 15 cities in 3 countries around the world. And with our system, we can end homelessness. When I build personally, I think about the homeless that have the signs on the streets. You know, a lot of people, when they drive by a homeless person, they will think, and I used to too, oh, I wish I would just get a job. And then I would think, I wish somebody would help them. Now when I drive by them, what I think is, be patient. We're building homes for you as fast as we can. We're the hope factory for a reason. There's a lot of hope that happens in this place. We write love notes on the walls, and it all gets covered over with paint, and that's fine. We know it's there. The residents don't know it's there, but when I talk to residents, they would say to me, I don't know what it is, but I feel the love in the home. And we're like, but see, we knew here. Dave the mover brings them up, puts them in the backyard. We store them there. We have storage back there for 50 homes, which is basically one village. A lot of people here, over time, you see their attitudes change. They're really focused on a purpose. Recently, one of the tiny home villages in Renton opened up, and so our volunteers here got to experience talking to residents for the first time and got to experience what a village looked like for the first time. So you can tell in their attitudes and in their smiles and in their faces how different they feel now.
I'm a former resident at the tiny houses. So the way I processed that in my head was, don't go into tiny houses to get comfortable. Go in there and take care of my business, motivate myself, advocate for myself. I always thought that I would never be homeless, but you never say never. August of last year, I got my permanent housing. You know, so I did what I had to do to get out the tiny houses. While I was in a tiny house, like I said, I got a job. I got a car. When I walked out the tiny house, I walked out with $2,000 because I saved my money. All right. You know, it gave me a chance to get my life back together. Tiny houses gave me hope and helped me get back on my feet and made me start loving myself all over again because I didn't love myself. You know, and today I can honestly stand here and say that this program does work.